beautiful people. I hope you are doing well. I am Kamand and welcome back to another video with me. This is day 2 of a 30-day challenge to learn, English collocations and keywords for fluency. In this video, I'm gonna talk about collocations about home, building, and accommodation and rent. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please push a button and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like this video. First, I'm gonna give you the collocation or the keywords, and then I'm gonna give you an example to fully understand the meaning of that collocation. Stay tuned. Let's start with verb plus home. Verb plus home. The first one is get home. Get home means to arrive home. I might be able to go, it depends on what time I get home from work. Head home. Head home means to go home. I think we should head home now before it gets too dark. Leave home. Leave home. He left home at the age of 18 and joined the army. Return home. Return home. Come back home. We became increasingly worried when our daughter failed to return home. Call home. Call home. I call home once a week to see how my parents are keeping. Own home. Own your home means to have your home. Some people want to own their homes while others are quite happy to rent. Next part is home plus noun. Home plus noun. We have home address. Address. Please remember to write down your home address. Home cooking. Home cooking. A meal that is made at home, especially by your mother. When I was away for the university, I missed my mother's home cooking. Home delivery. Home delivery, when you order something, if they have the home delivery option, they will bring it at your home. The price of the dishwasher includes free home delivery and installation. Hometown. Hometown. Hometown is the place you were born in. When she dies, she wants to be buried in her hometown. Next part, we're going to talk about verb plus noun and plus home. Take a taxi home. Take a taxi home. If you miss the last bus, you can always take a taxi home. See somebody home. See somebody home. One of my colleagues saw me home safely after the party. Send somebody home. Send somebody home. The teacher sent him home for bad behavior. Welcome somebody home. Welcome somebody home. Hundreds of fans went to the airport to welcome their team home. Next part is preposition plus home. At home. There was nobody at home when I called. Away from home. Away from home means to be far from home. My job involves a lot of travels, so I'm away from home for weeks at a time. From home. From home. The internet makes it possible to work from home. On the way home. On the way home. I stopped at the supermarket on the way home from work. There are some adjective collocations for the word home, like ideal home. Ideal means my dreamy home, my perfect home. Or broken home. Broken home. He is from a broken home. His family separated when he was only 4. Or we have also holiday home. They spent all summer in their holiday home. We have the expressions homegrown and homemade for vegetables and foods. We have homegrown vegetables and homemade foods. Now we're done with home. Let's get to the building collocations. Building. Verb plus building. Verb plus building. Construct a building. Construct a building means to make a building. Our company has a contract to design and construct the new Parliament building. Demolish a building. Demolish a building means to destroy a building. Engineers say that the building is unsafe and it has to be demolished. Convert a building. Convert a building means change a building. There are plans to convert the old school building into homes for elderly. Restore a building. Restore a building means repair a building. This beautiful old building has been restored to its former glory. Next, we want to talk about adjective plus building. Adjectives plus building. A derelict building. Derelict means an abandoned building. Many homeless people end up sleeping rough in the parks and derelict buildings. An empty building. Empty building. Our footsteps echoed through the empty building. Fine building. Fine building. This is a beautiful city with lots of fine buildings. A high-rise building. A high-rise building. A tall building. New York has high-rise buildings everywhere. The main building. The main building. My department isn't in the town center, but the main building of the university is right in the middle of town. A public building. A public building. On the day of King's funeral, lots of flags flew at public buildings. Next, we have noun plus preposition plus building. The appearance of the building. Most of the old buildings have renovated their appearance. Damage to the building. Damage to the building. Damage to the building has been estimated over $60,000. Entry to the building. Entry to the building. The burglars gained entry to the building from the back door. A floor of the building. A floor of the building. By law, there has to be a fire exit on each floor of the building. The tenants of a building. Tenants are people who rent the houses of a building. They are called tenants. All the tenants of building are unhappy about the increase in rents. Let's see how we say that we like a building. We can say that's an attractive building, or an impressive building, like the castle is an impressive building. Or we can also say a magnificent building, a magnificent building, magnificent. Now let's talk about accommodation and rent. First, we're going to talk about verb plus accommodation collocation. Find accommodation, find accommodation. We help new employees to find suitable accommodation in the city. Provide accommodation. It's a small hotel, but it can provide accommodation up to 30 people. Next one, live in accommodation. Live in accommodation. My uncle is disabled and lives in a sheltered accommodation. Guarantee accommodation. To guarantee accommodation. Students are guaranteed accommodation for their first year. Now let's talk about adjectives plus accommodation. We have free accommodation. Free accommodation. In return for free accommodation and food, I tidy the house and look after 2 kids. A furnished accommodation. furnished accommodation. The flat has a bed and a chair. That's not what I call it, a furnished accommodation. Self-catering accommodation. Self-catering accommodation. We're in self-catering accommodation, so we'll be doing all our own cooking. Temporary accommodation. Temporary accommodation. The council is using the local school as temporary accommodation for families made homeless by floods. Next, we have verb plus rent. Verb plus rent. Afford the rent. Afford the rent. We need a bigger house for our large family, but we can't afford the rent. Owe rent. Owe rent. The landlord is threatening the tenants to pay the rent they owe. Next one is pay the rent. Pay the rent. I pay the highest rent in the building because my room is the biggest room. Put up the rent. Put up the rent. The landlord wants to put up the rent by $200 a month. Withhold the rent. Withhold the rent means to not pay the rent and to keep it. We're withholding the rent until the landlord agrees to fix the heater. Another video has finished. I hope you like this video and you're gonna use these words and collocations to show that you are fluent in English. Bye bye for now.